Thank you so much for joining us for our candidate conversation, another female edition for this month. So we are still continuing with our Women's Month theme. It's all about the females. I am riding solo today, but I have an amazing, powerful female that's joining us as our guest. And I'm quite excited because she is one of our mentors here at Demana, and I've had the pleasure of conversing with her over the phone for quite a number of times, and she's always such a pleasure to talk to. So I'm very excited for tonight. So we're going to have fun tonight, but very insightful conversations also that will leave each and every single one of us with something to think about for our future. And just to motivate us too, we are going to leave here being motivated and inspired. So hello, Demana. You're on mute.
Hi. Yes. Now we have it right. Hello.
Yes, we're good to go. How are you?
I am very good. And yourself?
I'm perfect, thank you. How was your day?
It was exciting. I think
How
it
so?
was a good day. Well, one, I was looking forward to this moment, and yeah,
Yay!
and yeah, so I'm excited.
So I guess we're both excited. My day was slow, but in a very good way because I was also excited for this session. I'm sure that it's going to be so much fun. I cannot wait for us to unravel and pack in everything that we have to talk about.
Sure.
So just to explain to everyone at home, this is how we're going to do things tonight. I want us all to have a conversation with Demana. So at about 6:30, we are going to be taking questions from all of our WhatsApp groups respectively. So please, guys, everyone at home, if you have any question, request for advice, if you need clarity on anything, keep the questions coming through. I know for a fact that Demana will be more than happy to engage with you as well. So tonight we're joined by Demana. Your middle name isn't Diaz, right?
Yes,
Did I pronounce it right?
that is correct.
What
Yes,
does
it
it
is.
mean?
What does it mean? Yeah, it doesn't have like a straight word for like in English. It means like a messenger, if
Oh,
you
that's
may.
how
Yeah.
fitting for today. You're bringing
So,
out a powerful message.
right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's great.
Sure.
So, kid, just to get started on a lighter note, just give us a brief intro about who you are, your personality, the things that you like doing, your hobbies. Let us get
Okay.
to know Demana a bit more on a personal level.
Okay. Jemina, she's bubbly. Um, I enjoy being happy. I am very loud. And generally I'm a happy person that enjoys food. Yeah,
Mhm.
I love going out a lot, and trying out food and hanging out with my friends. I also enjoy traveling. So I travel, well, go for holiday or just drive road trips. So basically, that's me and what I enjoy doing. Yeah.
You mentioned food quite a lot. Can you cook the foods that you love so
Oh my
much?
goodness. Okay, my friends would say that I'm lying. Okay, I do. I think I can cook to survive.
Wow.
But yes, just so that I can have something to eat. But I love eating out a lot because I love trying out new things. That's why.
You should try playing with some new recipes once in a while.
Uh, okay.
You never know. You save a lot of money also from going out.
Okay. I will sometime in the future. Maybe I will try that. But yeah.
So let me take you back a bit to your young childhood days. Let's talk about your journey of schooling. Um, Maybe start us from high school and also what influenced the decision to go into the accounting field. When did the bug hit you?
Okay, high school, from grade 8 to 9, it was a mixture of subjects. So you would have science and also accounting. So at that time, I was unsure of what I wanted. And then I actually decided, I think in grade 9, I was like, yeah, I want to be an astronaut. It was because I think I could say, I was saying that science for me, I think it was, yeah, it looked interesting. For me, I think I'm one of those people that at times I like to do some things that are just different from other
Out of
people.
the
Well,
yes.
exactly. So I was thinking about it until in grade 10 when my friends all went to accounting and I was like left alone in science. I'm like, because for the first, I think for a week I was in the science class and then I was like, no, let me follow my friends. And then I ended up in accounting. Honestly,
So
I
it was
didn't
peer
really know.
pressure, Dick. Peer
Eish,
pressure. Wow,
I
Jimmy.
know. Now I'll never know what will be on the other side of science. But yeah, basically that's how I decided to do accounting.
And you found that you enjoyed it more.
Yeah, hey, I know, right? I enjoyed it because it makes much more sense to me. Yeah.
But I heard that accounting is a bit difficult. I heard in high school that apparently if one number at the top doesn't balance, then everything is wrong.
Well, that's the beauty of accounting because then every at the end of the day it has to balance. I think that's the fun part about it. And then so you have to work your numbers to make sure that at the end of the day it balances. And then if it doesn't, so you know that something is definitely wrong. So you have to go and yeah, go around it and make sure that you find where the error is. So yeah, I think it's much more interesting compared to science.
It's a challenge. So let's talk about you after high school deciding to go and study towards becoming a chartered accountant. What did you
Okay.
study at?
So why did I study it?
No, what did you, I want you to take us through the journey of when you got to varsity
Oh,
up
okay.
until you got to the stage where you are now as a qualified chartered accountant.
Okay. So after matric, I went to study at UJ for my degree, and then finished in record time. But at UJ, I didn't qualify to for their CTA program. So I think I was around 50s, and they needed a 60 for me to to do CTA. So I didn't qualify for that. So I found out about UNISA because they also have a CTA program. So then that's when I registered with UNISA. So with UNISA, it's distance learning. So it was quite a challenge to say that from a residential university to a long distance learning varsity, I think it was, yeah, quite an adjustment. So I applied for, at FLB, there was an institution called FLB. I don't know if it's still there, where I applied to get classes because UNISA didn't have classes. So I attended there, and that's when, oh, that is the first attempt of CTA, which I didn't pass. And I think I battled with the adjustment of, you have lecturers all the time, and then it's UNISA where, you're dealing with FLB lecturers who, yeah, I think the adjustment was a challenge. And then that was the first attempt. Second attempt, I think the following year, I decided to go to work. And then I was excited about having a job where I was
The
like, I thought,
salad.
exactly, getting a salary. I think I was getting like 5,000 something, and it was a lot of money then.
I'm
So I
sure.
enjoyed, exactly. So I enjoyed, I think I enjoyed the money and working that I kind of like put my studies on the, I was studying, but then I don't think I was serious about it still because I didn't pass during that year. So that was my second attempt. Third attempt, that is when I resigned from that job for other reasons. But then that's when I applied at AG, and then I moved to Pretoria. So I think it was a good move to Pretoria because Pretoria it's kind of chilled. So for
Too
me,
much.
exactly.
It's a
So
nice
it worked.
city.
Exactly. So it worked out for me because I was able to pace myself and actually think about what I want. And then that's when I did my third attempt at AG. So I had this friend of mine, we were studying together, And then we, at the end of the year, at the end of the year, we both got subs. We got a sub for accounting. And then back then, getting a sub, because we failed, it was 4 subjects and we only failed 1. So we got a sub for that. And back then, getting a sub for accounting, it was the best thing, because management accounting was difficult. It's one of the subjects that's really difficult. So then it was exciting for me that it was not management accounting. So I'm going to write, it's not MENEC, I'm going to write accounting. So then we went and I wrote that and I didn't make it. My other friend made it, and yeah, that broke me because, yeah. So that was really, really, really sad part in my life. And then I went again, I did the 4th attempt and I still didn't make it. I did it for the 5th time and I didn't make it. And I was like, nope, accounting is not for me. I can't. Because, like with CTA, you invest yourself in it, because you don't have time to socialize. You don't have time to, attend stuff that, be with your friends and stuff. It takes your whole life, that you have to dedicate your whole life to studying. And then if you don't make it, it really, really breaks you. So I was like, no, this is just way too much. Maybe it's not meant for me. I'm not doing this to myself, because it's painful, when you try so hard and you're not making it. And, at home, they give you also pressure. They're like, when are you finishing this thing? Repeating it and it's not working. So then I decided this is not for me. I'm going to do something else. And then what happened is there was this, at the office at AG, we have training officers. There was this lady, my training officer, her name is Nolwazi. So she called me in her office and then she's like, so what are you doing this year? I'm like, I'm going to register for RGA, it's Registered Government Auditors. That's what I'm going to do. And then she's like, but no, why are you giving up on CTA? And I'm like, no, I've done it 5 times already. I can't do this anymore. It's just way too much, too painful. You invest your whole life in it and I didn't get it still. So then she's like, you know what, just give it one more try. And the reason why this one more try, I always remember it, it's because those are the exact words that she said to me. And then I was like, exactly. So she's like, one more try. And then in my head, I'm like, okay, she just said once, but it doesn't hurt anything. So then I was like, okay, fine. But I didn't have money to register. So then I had to like, okay, now how do I get money? And also the other thing, the registration had closed. And then I was like, okay, so how am I gonna do this? So I phoned this other lecturer at UNIS and I was like, yeah, I want to register and stuff. They're like, oh, they've extended the registration because they saw that there was a lot of students that didn't have money to pay, so they had extended. So that was good news for me. So I hustled and I got money. I borrowed money from my friends and everyone, and I went to deposit and then I registered. That's when I went on for CTA. So basically, me going for the 6th attempt, it was, I had to change my strategy, because then I had been applying and trying out new things, but then it was not working. So I had to like really look in terms of how I do things and try to change in terms of my exam technique, because it was bad at the time and I had to change that. And that basically worked for me. And the other thing is I registered for Endunamu. So at Endunamu, okay, well, Rendani called me, because then, well, we know each other from high school. So then he's like, hey, he's opening this school. And then he's like, and so for me, it was like, okay, I mean, it doesn't hurt if I get these extra classes, because I battled with 2 subjects. So I registered for those subjects at Endunamu. And I think the first test that I wrote, I got 60%. At the time I was in Cape Town for work purposes, and then I called Rendani. I'm like, oh my word, I got like 60%. He was like, wow, you see. So it was the best thing ever, because I could see results of the change in strategy in the way that I was doing things and that attempt that I was doing. And from the year onwards, everything just, I think it went better than the previous years. And then I passed CTA in that year. And then I went to write ITC the following year. And then I also registered with Endunamu for ITC. And then I passed ITC and then APC, the same, because yeah, I wrote in the same year, APC, and then passed it first time, or ITC and APC, yeah. So yeah,
Yay, that's nice.
that's
I'm sure you
basically
were so
it.
happy.
I was excited. You can imagine what after failing something 5 times already, because
Yes.
at the time, like all my friends, people they are progressing, and then you just stuck in that one place, and you hear all these things, like even at home, they're like, when are you getting this? Maybe you should try something else. It's painful and it was hard. And that sixth attempt, I don't know, I think, yeah, it's all thanks to the training officer. Otherwise, I wouldn't be where I am today.
So all thanks to Nolwazi. It's Nolwazi, right?
Yeah, it's not easy.
Shout out to Nolwazi. So
Yes.
I'm sure all those disappointments and hurdles in the road, they were too much for you, They damaged your confidence, for lack of a better word, if I can say. So now
Sure.
you are a qualified CA. When we speak of Demana Demana, in the end, it's chartered accountant. What does
Exactly.
the CA brand, what does that mean to you? Like once you acquired that designation, what did it mean to you? And what do you think that the CA brings, the kind of doors that it opens?
What it meant to me was, um, it was because I think for me, the way I see it, the CA journey, it really becomes personal.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to have the strength to push, even if it's not going your way and you're not getting the results that you want, you really need that inner strength, and you need to remember the reason why you even went into that place in the first place.
The
I mean,
first
yeah,
place.
why you even chose that route in the first place, because unless you do that, you're not gonna find a reason to really wake up when you're supposed to, or say you're not gonna go for a social event when you really want to, and say you're gonna study. So getting to be a CA, it was so fulfilling for me, because then after all the failures that I had gone through, and the struggles and the pains that I've gone through, it just meant a lot, like everything to me. And also knowing that this is I gave it every single thing, and this is all my hard work. I put in everything, and of course, like the support that I got from my family, that was that is required, because then you really need to have a support system. So getting to be a CA, and after going through all of that, it was so fulfilling. It was the best feeling ever. And in terms of opportunities, there are a lot of opportunities. And I always say that being a CA, it's not like I'm gonna sit here and I'm like, oh, I've arrived, I've made it in life and all of. Okay, yes, success. I do say that. It's a personal thing. It's subjective. You can only say you're successful because you will determine what success is to you. And then for me, the way I see it is that when you get to be a CA, it is just a stepping stone for you to actually open up to the world and contribute and develop to something. And it's not just you arriving there. And there are doors. It does open a lot of doors. There's job security, in my view, and you really you are able to venture into a lot of areas, when you're a CA. That is, yeah, my personal view.
So when you're saying that you can go so much further than just being a CA, would you ever consider studying further than where you are now?
Definitely.
Are you
Yes,
studying
yes.
further right now?
I am not. So what happened is, so I said to myself, after I got to be a CA, I needed a break, because for all, like, ever since I started, I think it was in 2008, up until I got to qualify, I had never stopped to just, relax. And
To
at this
breathe.
time, I said to myself that I want to take a break and enjoy the hard work that I have gone through and enjoy my success, basically. So that's where I am. But I've gotten to a point where I'm like, okay, now let's do something else.
You need a new challenge now.
Exactly, exactly. No, it gets to that point where you're like, no, we need something else now to just, stimulate the mind. Because that's the thing with accounting. Being in this field, it's a constant learning, continuous learning. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
that's great. So now, after 5 failed attempts, you're going in one last time, and then you come across Enjunamu, right? Let's
Yes.
just briefly explain to us about your journey at Enjunamu and the type of value that you believe that they've not only that they have added into your academics, but your professional life even today, and you're still carrying out those values.
Okay, so at Endunamu, what I like and what I enjoyed about it is that um, you have this they are able to explain to a student level. Um, just to explain that, because obviously through my experience, I've been to different institutions before, and dealt with different lecturers. But then when I was at Ndunamo, it was different because they're able to explain things to such an extent that you are able to understand. I couldn't with the other places that I've been at. And it goes to your level where you are able to understand. And then other nice thing is that even during classes, you are able to ask questions. It's mostly a smaller group where you are able to interact with the lecturer. And at times, with students, you feel like, you don't want to ask something because you don't want to look stupid or ask a stupid question and stuff. And it doesn't feel like that. You are free to interact with the lecturer. And also, the feedback sessions, also the one-on-one sessions, they also help a lot because then you're able to understand how you went in terms of the assessments that they do, and then and have a way forward in terms of you improving your marks. So that's basically what I enjoyed, or what I think is or attracted me to Endunamu. Because of that, it's really good.
That's great. So what's the one thing that you've taken out from what you've learned at Enjunamu and you're now using in your professional life?
I think it's the with Endunamo, it's constant development of the students or the people that are involved, and what they do, like with this program, the mentorship program, where it just doesn't stop with being in class and the lectures or the assessments. Then there's other people that have gone through the same journey or the same experience, where you can have a one-on-one and interact with the students. I think that helps a lot, because at times I think people are able to open up about other things that you wouldn't normally just tell maybe the other person or your lecturer. So you can connect, and also you are able to share your personal journeys with a person and encourage them and motivate them. I think basically that is the one thing about them that really, really stands out.
That's great. So you've touched also on family support. You said that for you, it is very, very important to have solid family support,
Yes.
because also I think this journey, when you get to talk to people who are still on the journey, on those who have finished, it's so challenging. I do not know how you guys cope. It's so challenging. It takes away so much from your life, personally, your social life, as you've mentioned also. But besides family support, what other elements do you think are important for candidates to have that are the key to success? Maybe during examinations and after examinations, or throughout their studying their academics.
Okay. It's important to have a program, a study program, and try to stick to it as hard as it is. But you have to, and also to stay focused. That is important, because as much as you still have a life outside CTA. Because I wouldn't say that all the time just stay in your books. Yes, have time to to socialize, but not too much. I'm not saying just kill your social life completely, because you do need to take a break. But you need to stay focused. And also, like, I think during exams, what I always say to students is that when you get into the exam room, it's a war. I know that's like a strong word to use, but I can explain that it's a fight, because like, it happens that there's a time where you might find something that you didn't expect, or you didn't read properly, or you're not strong at it. But the key to the whole thing is that don't get discouraged. That whatever it is that is there, whether you know it or you don't, you still write and attempt each and every single question that is there. So because you have that moment where you're like, this topic, I know, like IS 19 or whatever it is, I have issues with it. But you don't stop. You don't give up on yourself, because you only have yourself. That's the thing. You still fight up until the last subject that you are writing. You never, ever, ever, ever give up on yourself during exam. That is critical, because then if you do that, well, I don't know, it might not go your way, but that is basically what worked for me. Mentally, you just tell yourself that I'm going out there to pass this, and I'm gonna fight, whether I know something or I don't, because it does happen that, you don't know everything, and then there's something that, surprises you, but you just don't, you stay focused and you fight and you attempt all the questions, and then, the universe might go your way.
And you can't know everything at the end of the day, right?
Exactly. No, you can't. Yes.
So just before we take, guys, if to everyone at home, we are about to take questions. If you have any questions or anything that you want to ask, please send them through on our WhatsApp groups on WhatsApp. So I want us to talk. I've noticed that you like motivating a bit. You consider yourself as a motivator, a life coach. Well, how did that come about?
Okay, I think because I love talking, and also, well, I think my journey. Okay, I'm not I wouldn't put myself in the line of being a genius. I think that I was an average student, where I would get like your 50s, and when I've worked very hard, and that for me, it speaks a lot, because at times, people, I used to have that mentality. That's why I would be saying such, where I would think, I'm not gonna make it. I mean, what do I know? But now I still fight with having that, knowing that this is where I am, and I accept myself with basically what I can do. So basically, that's what worked. That's what works and keeps me going.
You never, ever, ever give up on yourself. Always remember that.
Oh, we cannot. You cannot, because you only have yourself. That's the thing.
And it's going
So,
to eat you up at the end of the day. So,
sorry.
yeah. I'm saying that at the end of the day, it's going to eat you up if you just sit and not do anything about it.
Exactly. So you fight. You fight. That's the one thing that I know, and it will go your way, one way or the other.
Great advice, Jamina. I have 3 questions here for you. They are from Shilongim Simek. Number
Okay.
one, I'll repeat them. If you miss any of them, it's okay. Number
Cool.
one is, since you are a qualified chartered accountant now, was
Mhm.
was all the years of studying worth it? Number two, what did you do differently every year on the year that you passed your CTA? Number three, the final one is, what advice would you give to those who are approaching ITC soon?
Okay. Was it worth it? Definitely.
No doubt
um,
about it.
okay. I don't know if I should say I'm fortunate that I do not have a family, like as in my own kids or a husband. So all, like, everything that I earn comes to me. So that's the benefit of it. But okay, just on a serious note though, was it worth it? Definitely. There is a financial reward that comes with it. And yes, you will be secured. And you can only build, like what I said, you can only build from what you're getting by also exploring other things and building and building from there, and not just wanting to stay in one place. So definitely it's worth everything. And then the second one was, what was different that I did
Yes, when you passed your CTA.
when I passed my CTA? So one thing that's different is that I worked on my exam technique, because exam technique, I think we tend to throw this word around a lot. Let me just explain. Exam technique, what I learned was that with CTA, it's a mark scoring game, if I would put it, in that you just need to understand that you need to know your principles. I'll just make an example. The principle when it comes to, say, if there's a question relating to depreciation. So if there's a question on depreciation and then they're asking you to calculate depreciation, so whatever cost amount that you would have calculated, and then you use that to calculate your depreciation, whether you're using diminishing or straight line method, the fact that you know which method it is and you show it in your calculation, whether the amount is wrong or right, you will get a mark for that. And then obviously, because usually it will be like 2 marks, and then you get a mark for a principle. So basically, learning that, the fact that you will get a mark for you demonstrating your principle, and then the other mark for applying that principle, is the best thing ever, because then you would score marks. So instead of you not getting the mark completely, like 2 marks completely, at least you walk away with 1. So that's the thing. Even when I was getting my results, they were not like all 70s and 60s. I was like 50. I'm like, I'm good, thank you. Now I'm CA, so let's move on from this. So
Yes.
basically, because that's just it. You just need to get to the other side. The rest of the other things, maybe someone can get the rest of the marks, but just get there and pass it, and then you move on. When you get the certificate for being a CA, it doesn't say how many marks you got. It just says you're a chartered accountant. So that's the
You're
thing.
all the same at the end of the day.
Exactly. And then the other question was on ITC. What was it?
It's the question was, what advice would you give to those who are preparing for ITC?
Okay, so for ITC, what I would say is do as much questions as you can, because I say that a lot of principles you would have learned it during when you're studying CTA. Even if you did it, you passed it after the first attempt or second, but most of the principles you would be knowing them in CTA. So my advice is, with ITC, do as much questions as you can, and make sure that you go through whatever board course, if it's in Dunamu, or if it's the Gauteng board course, whatever board course that you're doing, you do as much questions, and you focus on the principles as well, applying the principles, because yes, there's different kinds of questions that you would get, or different styles of setting papers. And you're not gonna get the same question, obviously, when you go to write, but at least you get used to the different styles of how papers are set, and you practice a lot. So you just need to do a lot of questions and focus on principles, and not do the oh yeah method. I know that, yeah, it's comfortable to do that, where you read the question and you read the answer, but you really need to make sure that you attempt the question and then you mark yourself after.
Another question that we have from our ITC candidate, his name is Livuani Matava. They ask, did you ever fall behind during preparations for ITC? If so, how did you get your mind to focus again instead of stressing? I guess it goes back to that question of, after so many knocks that you took for 5 attempts, how did you boost yourself up?
Okay, so if you've fallen behind, yes, I did fall behind many times. the important thing is knowing yourself. By knowing yourself, it means that you should know your weaknesses and your strengths, and you make sure that you capitalize on your strengths. And in saying that, like, I knew that I'm a morning person. Like, I'm one of those people that 6 o'clock, okay, actually now 6 o'clock I want to sleep, and then I would wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock, and then I would study. So that's where it's important to know and understand when are you more productive in terms of studying, so that you use that time also to catch up on your studies. And the other thing that I have seen also, even in the workplace, is that when you're stressing, you really don't get a lot done, because in your mind you're stressing a lot. So I would say that when you are stressing, just take a step back, and just recharge. Get your mind off whatever that you're stressing, and just do something else for a short while, so that then when you come back, you are able to prioritize, to say then, write things down, to say, what do I need to do, that I need to, so that I can take it off. You just go, and it just helps you to re-strategize and reprioritize, and make sure that you get your priorities straight. So taking time off and relaxing, doing something different, then coming back again, it will help you to know what you need to prioritize, and you continue going back and push.
So know your weaknesses and your strengths.
That's key. It is important.
We have another question from Peggy Rakau, but it's almost the same as the one that you answered now. She was asking, how did you boost your confidence when you were writing ITC? Because failing is really a really hard knock on confidence for her. So she was asking that. You can elaborate a bit more if you want to give her some advice.
I would say, remind yourself why you got into that place. Why you got into this thing in the first place. It's if you're, I think, when you fail, it's also a building block, because I'm not saying that people should fail. All I'm saying is, if it does happen, because it happened to me, it does happen in life that you do, it's just a building block to say, yes, I didn't make it when I applied this method. Now I know better. Then I just need to adjust and then do it differently. You understand?
Yeah.
So basically, it's to say that you learn from your mistakes that you would have made, and then you just step up from there and you move forward. And I know that it is hard. I know personally, I do know that it is hard to get back up, when obviously, everything else is against you. Who knows? You might not have the support that you want, or you might not have the funds to even continue doing it, or even the strength to even get back to your table and study again. But that's basically what I've done, is just to remind myself, how badly do I want this, and what was my reason for getting into this. And also it helps, because for me, even when I had given up, it was someone else that spoke to me. And thank God for her, because then at that time I needed that push. So that is why I also say that having a support structure helps a lot.
Yes, that's true.
Yes.
I hope that answers your question, Peggy. We've already touched on this, so I'm just going to acknowledge Stephanie Rakulu. She was asking whether you identified that once you did your sixth attempt, that you noticed that you had to focus a little bit more on your exam technique. So she was asking if she wanted to know what was wrong that you were doing to fail all those times, and what did you do differently in order for you to pass. But
Okay.
that's one we acknowledged.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Can I answer?
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay. So if I don't know if she heard from the beginning, the attempts that I made, at the beginning for the first and the second attempt, I wouldn't. I think I've written even in the testimonial that I wasn't serious, because then even I failed all the subjects, like all 4 subjects in the first attempt and the second attempt, and that is not a person that was ready to pass. I don't think so. And at the time, I think I was, I was enjoying having a job, and I was enjoying, having that, I don't know, that freedom. But it was, I had not made a decision to pass it yet, in my view, even though I was going to classes and everything. And so back then, what I used to do is that I would cram the theory, whatever that is there, and I battled to apply myself, because with CTA or ITC, you have to apply the principles that you know. And I have a photographic memory that I would write things, because then I know very well I crammed the stuff, the theory part. But with CTA or ITC, you need to apply the principles that you know on the paper, which is basically what I had to learn throughout all those years. Yes, I would, say in my third attempt, I passed, and then I didn't make it for 1 subject. And then I went in there with my other friend. He also still laughs at me because I battle with a cash flow statement, because I actually crammed the cash flow statement to say, yeah, when when you have inflows, you put brackets or whatever the case is. And that it caught up with me in the exam, and I failed that 1 accounting exam, and people couldn't even believe it, because everyone else had subs for MENEC and I had for accounting. And because I had put it in my head, but I didn't really practice how to apply it. So basically, my journey throughout, yes, I wished I knew all those things in my first attempt, then I wouldn't have done it so many times. But I had to learn all these things to get to the point where I was. So, but I'm not saying you should fail to get to there. No, no, no. Not be like me.
Put
Yeah.
in your all.
Yes, 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 please.
Great advice. I think that's it from the questions. I'm sure I haven't missed anyone. I don't think I've missed anyone. So, oh, we're running out of time. Wow, I was enjoying that. One last thing, briefly. Any final words of encouragement that you have for females in this profession, given that it's Women's Month? We're all about women empowerment.
Um, wow. Okay. I would say never give up. Whichever field that you're at, you always you keep on. You get back up when when you fail, when it doesn't go your way. You still stand up and you push, and you have to believe in it, because
Yes.
it's you don't need like people to like believe in it for you. This is a personal journey that you go through. Only you know how much or what it means to you, that you need to give it everything that you have. And stay focused. That is important, because in life there are distractions that would come, and whether it's mostly it will be, maybe it's things that are unplanned, that would distract you. But even if we do sit down at times to just take a break, get back up in the game and keep pushing until you get to where you want to be. If I have done it, I'm not a genius. I wish I was. If I have done it so many times, trying to get to this point, and I actually got it, I promise you, I feel like anyone can do it. Anything that you put your mind into it, and your energy and every single thing in it, you will get to that point where you achieve it. You just need to believe in it, believe in yourself, and keep reminding yourself of the reason why you got into that place in the first place. That would be my advice.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet, Demana. That's it for us tonight. That was so short. I had so much fun. I feel like there's so much that we haven't touched on. I wish we could go on. I could
Right.
talk to you all night. There's so much that we still need to talk about. 45 minutes is not enough. But thank you so much. You could be doing anything else, but you decided to come and spend time with us and encourage our candidates, especially through these hard times. We're living in very unpredictable times today. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And may
Thank
you
you so
have a
much.
wonderful Women's Month. Enjoy the rest of it.
Thank you so much. Same to everyone.
And remember to try out those recipes. I'm coming with something. Please, please.
I will. Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone at home, for joining us. Come back next week as we wrap up Women's Month. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Good night.
Bye.